Hi guys, I'm back. In this video, we're going to talk about the ox, the Chinese zodiac sign of the ox. The last video I covered 2 years of the monkey archetype, and now we're going to do the ox. And so again, I'm just going to read you what I've already written and what I've already researched and put together. Okay, so let me first state that I don't cover all the years under all the signs. And the reason why I don't do that is because these videos are intended to inspire you to actually do the research for yourself. There is no research better than self-led research. Okay, the research that you do on your own accord of, regarding your own dynamics, you know. So the information that you already have, and you combine that with the research outside, other research that you may have known of but not in depth. The combination of that information solidifies it within you, and it actually gives you continued guidance and continued support as you traverse these living situations and different relationships and different dynamics of sorts. Okay, and so um, it helps you build immunity. Okay, so I'm just going to share those that are specific to me, and they may be specific to other people too. Okay, so I'm definitely going to that's why I do it the order that I'm doing it in, because I'm doing it based off of what I know, what I've experienced, and how I understand these archetypes. And so, if I don't cover your the year that you're looking for, feel free to go ahead and research it for yourself. The fulfillment that you get out of doing that research, out of looking into it for yourself, is far greater than listening to any video, anyone else's perspective. Your perspective is always going to outweigh anyone else's, okay? Because these experiences are personal and individual, okay? All right. So we're going to transition to the ox, which is Tao. Um, the ox is the sign of the yin earth. In its balanced state, the ox is the backbone of the zodiac, reliable, tireless, and honest. However, the shadow side I've identified is a perversion of that earth energy. It becomes a heavy, stagnant, and deeply envious force. The ox, I was going to mix them both. The ox archetype falls under the years 1961, 1973, 1985, 1997, 2009, and 2021. The ox is governed by the desire for stability and status. When an ox feels they cannot achieve these through their own merit, the shadow traits of the mimic and the usurper emerge. The positive qualities, the light side, integrity, they are usually the ones who do the heavy lifting without complaining. Methodical, they value tradition and long term building. Solidity, they provide a safe harbor for those they care about. The negative qualities, the shadow side. My observation highlights the parasitic ox. This version of the archetype lacks its own creative fire, so it attempts to steal the fire of others to stay warm. The mirroring narcissist. Because the shadow ox feels internally hollow or lacks original authority, they study those who do have it, excuse me. They study those who do have it. They don't just admire you, They attempt to wear your skin. They mimic your speech, your branding, and your insights, presenting them as their own hard-earned wisdom. The helpful facade. They use the ox's reputation for being reliable as a mask. They perform acts of service specifically to gain entry into your inner circle, where they can better observe and copy you. The smear campaign. The ox is notoriously stubborn. When they are exposed or denied what they want, that stubbornness turns into a scorched earth policy. If they can't be you, they will try to ensure no one else likes you. They use their perceived steadfastness to make their lies seem more believable to outsiders. Shortcut mentality. Despite the ox being the symbol of hard work, the shadow version is deeply lazy. They want the authority of the expert without the years of the journey. They want the authority of the expert without the years of the journey. They skip the line by regurgitating your words verbatim. Verbatim. You know, you'll have that moment where you're like, did they just say what I said like that? That just sounds like something I just said. Like, yeah. Comparison of the ox archetype. The trait. The healthy ox, through growth, builds from the ground up. The shadow ox mimics the look of success. In knowledge, the healthy ox learns through experience. The shadow ox regurgitates others' wisdom. Through conflict, the healthy ox stands their ground quietly. The shadow ox launches a full range of lies if rejected. In loyalty, the healthy ox is devoted for life. The shadow ox is an opportunist, stays only while they can take. The energy of envy, the jealousy I mentioned in the poison. Oh, I'm sorry. The jealousy I previously mentioned is the poison in the yin earth element. While a healthy earth sign nurtures others, a jealous earth sign suffocates or buries them. Because they are often seen as boring or predictable, they deeply envy the charismatic or the spiritually enlightened. They cheat because they believe they are owed the same rewards as the creators they imitate. That's funny. I remember one said, because I always talked about being the gift, like, you know, you're the gift. Understand that you're the gift. And I would always say that I'm the gift, right? And this individual said, I'm the gift. And I just like stopped. And I was like, you know what? You are a gift. Everyone's a gift in their own right. But not when you're mimicking someone else. You're not a gift. Like, you're just a taker. Just a taker. But I don't need to tell them that because they already know, unless they're believing their own lies. Okay, protecting against the mimic. When dealing with the shadow ox, the best defense is uniqueness and speed. They can copy what you said, but they can never copy your essence or your intuition. When you evolve, they are left holding an outdated version of you. To understand the ox in these specific years, 1973, 1985, and 1997, we have to look at how their elemental flavor interacts with that core shadow of mimicry and envy. While the ox is naturally yin earth, these years introduce water, metal, and fire, which change how they study you and why they try to wear your skin. 1973, the water ox. The water ox is the most fluid and dangerous of the mimics because water represents the intellect and communication. the verbatim regurgitator. Because water governs speech, this ox is the one most likely to record your words and repeat them back to others as their own original insights. They have a sponge like ability to soak up your vocabulary and cadence. The helpful mask. They use emotional intelligence as a weapon. They will be the first to offer a shoulder to cry on, but they aren't listening to comfort you. They are listening to gather data on your vulnerabilities so they can better imitate your strength later. The smear campaign. If you cut them off, their smear is subtle and pervasive. They use soft lies that sound like genuine concerns for you, which makes their betrayal harder for others to see. 1985, the wood ox. Wood represents growth and expansion, but in a shadow ox, it manifests as a desperate need for authority and status without the roots to support it. The professional mimic. This ox doesn't just copy your words, they copy your brand. If you start a business or a specific practice, they will launch a carbon copy within months. They skip the line by trying to look like the finished product before they've even started the journey. The jealous opportunists. They are hyper competitive. They don't just want to be like you, they want to replace you. They view your success as a resource they are entitled to. The worker bee trap. They will offer to do the grunt work for you to get close to your process. Once they think they've seen the secret sauce, they leave and try to sell it as their own discovery. 1997, the fire ox. Fire adds intensity, ego, and impulsiveness to the ox's stubborn nature. This is the most explosive shadow version. The authority illusionist. They have a loud, charismatic exterior that masks a deep lack of self-worth. They mimic the most powerful person in the room to feel significant. The scorched earth liar. When a fire ox feels slighted or found out, their retaliation is immediate and aggressive. They won't just paint a horrible picture of you. They will try to set your entire reputation on fire with blatant, passionate lies. The shortcut king queen. They are the most likely to cheat or take unethical shortcuts. They feel that because they are working hard, even if they aren't, they deserve the same rewards as the person who has been in the trenches for decades. The summary of the shadow manifestations. 1973 water, mimicry style, verbal, intellectual, motivation of lies to maintain social favor, helpful facade, emotional support, the confidant. 1985 wood, mimicry style, branding, structural, motivation for lies to protect status, helpful facade, practical support, assistance. The 1997 fire, mimicry style, persona, energy, motivation for lies to soothe wounded ego, helpful facade, high energy, champion, the fan. The pattern of the seeker versus the mimic. As I've noted, the best knowledge is the research we do for ourselves. The shadow ox is the antithesis of this. They don't want to be seekers. They want to be found. They want the world to find them and declare them an authority without the internal transformation that true research requires. By identifying these specific gears, we can see the operating system they are using. We can see the operating system that they're using. The water ox copies the mind, the wood ox copies the work, and the fire ox copies the spirit. I hope this helps. I apologize. I left out how to how to spot the mimic early on before they get close enough to study you. Okay? Because I want to give you some tools as well. To spot the mimic early, you have to look past the labor they offer and look at the source of their energy. Because the shadow ox, especially from the years 1973, 1985, and 1997, is looking for a shortcut to authority, they leave specific uh, breathless tracks. True authority is earned in the trenches of personal research. A mimic only has the topsoil of that experience. Here's how to identify them before they gain access to your inner circle. The rapid fire adoption test. A mimic is in a hurry to belong and to be seen as an expert. They don't have the patience for the slow burn of a true learner. The sign. Within days of meeting you, they are using your specific insider terminology, your unique metaphors, or even your physical mannerism. Mannerism. The test. Introduce a brand new, slightly complex concept or a specific made up term for a process you use. A true seeker will ask, what does that mean? How did you come to that? A mimic will immediately start using that term in conversations with others as if they've known it for years. 2, the process gap. Because they are skipping the line, they can describe the result, but they cannot explain the evolution. The sign. They speak in verbatim quotes. They sound like a recording of a book or a podcast, or you, literally. A test. Ask them a why or how question that requires personal nuance. How did that realization change your daily routine? Or what was the hardest part of researching that? The reveal. A shadow ox will often become defensive, give a vague, generic answer, or pivot back to a rehearsed script. They lack the scars of the actual work. 3, the helpful audition. The shadow ox doesn't just offer help, they offered enmeshed service. They want to be your right hand so they can see everything you do. The sign. They offer to do tasks that involve your intellectual property or sensitive processes. Let me organize your notes. Let me sit in on your sessions so I can learn to support you. The warning. If the help feels like an audition for your life rather than a contribution to your goal, it's a tactic for observation. 4, the mirroring red flag. While matching is a natural social skill, the mimic does it with a chilling precision that feels off. The sign. They have no strong opinions of their own. They agree with everything you say, even if you purposely say something contradictory or experimental. The test. Offer an opinion you don't actually hold, or one that is slightly out there. Watch if they immediately pivot to agree with you. A person with their own authority will challenge you or pause to reflect. A mimic will simply update their software to match yours. Red flags by elemental year. 1973 water. The early warning. They know exactly how you feel instantly. The study method. Recording. They memorize your stories to retell them as their own. The 1985 wood. They ask for your system or template early. The study method, mapping. They want to see the skeleton of your work. 1997 fire. The early warning. They are your biggest fan and shower you with praise. The study method, absorbing. They want to catch your vibe and energy. 5, the gatekeeper check. Before they have even mastered what you do, they will start trying to teach it to people below them in the social hierarchy. The sign. You catch them explaining your concepts to someone else in the room, often while you are still there, as if they are the intermediary between you and the world. The action. This is the moment to pull back. They are already regurgitating to build their own authority at your expense. The ultimate defense, the silent chamber. The most effective way to spot them is to stop the flow of information. When you go quiet about your personal research and the work, a true collaborator will stay and continue the relationship based on mutual respect. A mimic, however, will become restless, bored, or even angry. Once the source of their content dries up, they will quickly move on to find a new person to study. I hope this helps.